What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Baker the Music Maker coming at you with another Hot Chrome Music Lab tutorial. It's been a little while since I made a video. Took a bit of a break, got me a new house, moved into a new spot, got some upgrades on the setup, little improvements here and there, and we're ready to get back rolling with the action. Today we're gonna do a tutorial over the third most streamed song of all time on Spotify. Number 1, The Weeknd, Blinding Lights. Number 2, Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Number 3, Someone You Love from Lewis Capaldi. Let's hear it. Oh yeah, you recognize it. I don't know how that song became number 3 of all time. That's a pretty big accomplishment, but let's make it from scratch, shall we? I'm gonna hit restart. And we got a blank canvas. First thing you're gonna wanna change is the settings. If you don't change the settings first, you're gonna be in for a world of pain later down the road. So go ahead and change your settings from not scale major, but scale chromatic. You wanna change scale from major to chromatic. You wanna change your range from 2 octaves to 3 octaves. Again, scale, change from major to chromatic. Range, 2 octaves to 3 octaves. Hit the blue check to save your settings. Now, we have 1, 2, 3 octaves divided by this thick blue line in the middle of each. Drums are on the bottom and tempo's down here. Tempo is a fancy word that means the speed of the song. We're going to slow it down a little bit. 120 is a bit too fast. Let's slow it on down here. Double click that. You're going to type in 110, 110 and press enter. Now we have a new tempo, slightly slower than what we had it before. And we're going to plug in the bass line now. First, I want to change the sound from marimba to piano because this is a piano song. The intro starts on piano and you'll recognize it when it comes in. We're going to plug in the bass notes, which is the low notes, the foundation that the other notes sit on top of. That's going to start off with this shade of this kind of dark orange right here. We're in the low octave again, so right above this thick blue line, the second one above it is this shade of orange. And we're going to skip to this gray section right here. It goes white, gray, in columns, white, gray, white, gray. So at the beginning of this gray section, you're going to put this navy blue kind of color right there. So we put that one, we're finished with the white section. We put this one at the beginning of the gray section, we're finished with that. Now on the beginning of the next white section, you're going to put this kind of magenta. We'll call it mauve. It's kind of a dark magenta color at the beginning of that white section. And then we have this last gray section here. We're going to plug in this kind of a forest green kind of color. That one right there. So the root notes right there at the beginning of each bar are these colors right up front. Let's hear it. So exciting, so beautiful. Not really. Like I said, it's just the bass line. Now to put some notes on top of that to get the moving melody happening. Now, I'm going to scroll up because our bass line is done. We're going to do what's called moving eighth notes straight across, which means there's going to be no spaces. It's going to have the same rhythm all the way throughout, but the colors are going to change. First one we're going to start with is this above this, in the top octave, above this thick blue line, we're going to have this shade of kind of a forest green right there. And then at the beginning of each beat, we're going to put that forest green right in there. So green, skip one, green, skip one, green, skip one, green, skip one. We skipped one because we're going to fill in those skips with this navy blue that we had down there. So it starts with a skip, and then you're going to put the navy blue in. So green, blue with no space in the middle. And you should have 4 of each color, and it should end right at the beginning of that gray section. Very cool. Check that out. Make sure you got the right shades of colors happening, and we're ready to move on. So at the beginning of this gray section starts with a red. Red. And we're going to skip one through each. And we have to do that same rhythm like I said, but this time we got a different color on our hands. This one's going to be this kind of shade of orange right here. Very cool. So we filled in the gaps. We did a red, skip, continue throughout. Fill in the gaps with this shade of orange right here. Now we're pretty much halfway done. Let's hear this bad boy. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's coming along, starting to sound pretty. Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead and continue our pattern. Same rhythm, just different colors. We have this next one is that same dark shade of orange we used down there, but we're using it up the top octave. Go ahead and fill out the rest of that bar. Looks good. And then we're going to do this shade of the forest green right there. Boom. Like I said, moving eighth notes. Each of these dots represents one eighth note. So it alternates like that, then switches colors, then switches colors, and we're almost done. Let's hear it so far. The ear knows where it wants to go. Let's go ahead and finish this thing off. Got that shade of mauve to start out that gray section. Then we're going to hop down here to that shade of orange again. That color's all over the place. Very cool. So now we should be finished, except for one change we're going to make. Let's listen to the whole thing before I show you what change to make. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Now one note needs to change before it restarts. We're going to change this last magenta mauve color to a navy blue. It's called a passing tone, so it's going to bring you from this chord back to the very beginning, and that should round out the whole thing. Shall we give it a listen? And that little change at the end, that subtle variation makes all the difference. You know the song, it goes, right? Yeah, you get it. Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi, the third most streamed song on Spotify of all time. Mr. Baker the Music Maker is back. Keep those requests coming. I hope to release a lot more videos here very soon. Got a lot of ideas cooking up for spooky season, but I love the requests. Keep the requests coming. If you want to add some drums, I'll do a little drums here on this one. Let's hear that. Not necessary. It's a pretty ballad. It's a piano type intro, so don't worry about putting no drums. But if you want to experiment with drums, go ahead. Or change the sounds down here if you don't like that instrument sound. Thanks again for watching, y'all. Keep those requests coming. I appreciate all the love and support. Mr. Baker signing out. Peace and love.